Hello there. So dear students, the new topic of our session today is language learning strategies. The lecturer is Qutliyeva. Learning strategies here come from the Elementary Immersion Learning Strategies Resources Guide, Department of Education, Washington. Sailing the 5th Century with Learning Strategies, a resource guide for secondary foreign language educators, Department of Education, Washington. What are the learning strategies? The definition of the strategies is the thoughts and or action the students use to complete a learning task. The second one is they are used for problem solving during the language strategies. Strategies can be learned. The last one is learning strategies improves language learning. Why teach learning strategies? The goal is for students to become independent learners with the ability to use strategies correctly in a variety of contexts. Strategies improve students' acquisitions of a foreign language. Students discover how and when to apply them. How do we organize them? Metacognitive strategies and task-based strategies. General learning strategies, students begin to think consciously about their own learning. They focus on how the students can use their own resources to learn most effectively. Metacognitive strategies. What is a metacognitive strategies, dear students? It is an organized or planned organization of what they need to do. Manage. Regulation of their own learning. Monitor. Students check their progress on the task. And the last one, evaluate. Students reflect on their work. Strategies that use what you know. Make predictions. It happens when a student anticipates information and makes logical guesses about what will happen. They can all be used when students have enough relevant background knowledge. Strategies that use your own imagination. Use real objects or role play. Students imagine themselves in different roles in their target language. It can be used with the concrete or abstract concepts to make them more concrete. Strategies that use your organizational skills. Find applied patterns. Students use a rule they already know or create a new one. It is useful in situations where students can generalize about a language structure. Use graphic organizers to take notes. Or use graphic organizers take notes. Use or create visual representation of important relationships between concepts. Write down important words and ideas. Strategies that use a variety of resources. Cooperate. By working together, students gain confidence, share their strengths, and complete tasks more easily. Talk yourself through it. Students tell themselves they are doing a good job and they are capable of completing a task. I know I can do it. Training proposal for paper reading. Strategies may be applied to any language. Learning skills including reading. Now we are going to describe a proposal for paper reading. Chemet's materials are for other language than English, but can be adapted without effort as the English translation always appears somewhere. What procedure should I use to teach strategies? The first one, preparation. The second one, presentation. The third one is practice. The fourth is the self-evaluation. The fifth one, expansion. So, the first one, preparation. The second one is presentation, the third one is practice, and the fourth one self-evaluation, and the fifth one expansion. For example, preparation. Ask the students to tell you about the weather today. Ask them to describe the weather in the summertime, the winter time. Explain that sometimes we understand things in a story because of what we know already. Show the students a picture from the story. Froggy gets dressed and ask them, kind of weather is Froggy preparing for? Write their responses on the board. Presentation. We introduced the new concept or strategy. There are 5 steps. Name the strategy. Explain how to use it. Tell when to use it. Model it. Explain its importance. So, name the strategies. Give the strategy a name. The strategy is called make inferences. Use an illustration. This way it will be easier for students to understand and remember the strategy. Explains how to use the strategy. Tell students what strategy means and how to use it. For example, this strategy is called make inferences. Make inferences can help us figure out the meaning of a story by using clues such as the content, pictures, or specific words in the story. If you don't know what a word means, try to read other sentences to figure it out. Tell students when to use a particular strategy. Make it clear to students what situations call for the use of the strategy. If you have emphasized in your explanations one skill, like reading, make sure to emphasize that the strategy can be used with other skills as well, such as listening or writing. Presentation. Ask students again. Your students or you read Froggy get dressed. Ask students if they were right before. Tell students that are learning to guess what a story is about using a picture and information that they already know. Using the picture to guess what a story is about is a strategy called make inferences. Using this strategy can help you understand a story that you are reading or listening. Model the strategy by thinking aloud. Say, for example, in this picture, the frog is putting on his socks. I think it is a going out. Practice. The content and the strategies taught serve as material to practice. Think carefully about your students' abilities. Success with learning strategies depends on whether students find them useful. While introducing new strategies, coach students with reminders to use previously learned ones, which should be gradually eliminated. In the early stages, students also need feedback. Practice 1. Have the children dress up and act out, retell the story. And show picture cue cards that depict children modeling several different types of clothing. Have students draw an animal friend to go with the froggy. Presentation 2. Reintroduce the strategies. So presentation 2 is includes reintroduce the story. You can use what you know about the weather and the seasons to figure out what months of the year the story takes place in, even though the book doesn't say. This is another way to use the strategy to take inferences. Practice 2. Shows pictures of children dressed for various weather conditions. Have the students guess what season and month it is. Remind them that they are using the picture to help them understand. Evaluation. It focuses on students' self-evaluation of the effectiveness of the strategies they use in accomplishing specific tasks. Students need to find out which learning strategies work best for them on certain tasks and why. There are several methods: class discussions, learning strategies, checklists. Ask students to raise their hands if they guessed what kind of weather Froggy was preparing for. Ask the students to raise their hands if making guesses before reading a story helps them understand it more easily. The third one, students retell the story using pictures and short sentences. Expansion. Students learn to relate and transfer strategies, use the other task, subject, areas, or aspects of their lives. If they have used make inferences while reading a story, you might model how to make inferences while watching a movie or cinema. It is important to recognize and seek occasions when learning strategies. Instruction can be reviewed and reinforced. Make inferences to talk about the temperature. Tell students make inferences is always a helpful strategy to use while reading. Have students make guesses from covered picture about stories they are going to read. Explain the importance of the strategies. Point out students how they benefit from using the strategy. As I listen to this story, there are parts that I don't understand. I can understand better by making inferences. Thank you for your attention.